Described as an internet pioneer, Tiffany Shlain founded the Webby Awards back in the 1990s and has been an unabashed enthusiast of digital technology ever since, online and as a filmmaker. Yet, every week, she and her family ditch their devices and, drawing on their Jewish faith, take what they call a technology Shabbat. Joining us now to explain the need to unplug. Via Skype from Park City, Utah, we welcome Tiffany Shlain to the agenda. Tiffany, it's great to meet you. I guess we should start by saying Shabbat is the Hebrew word for Sabbath. So you are, in effect, you and your family, taking a technology Sabbath or Shabbat every week. Explain how it works in your family.
Well, like everyone, there's screens everywhere, and especially these days with all the news that's going on. Basically, by the time we get to Friday, and we're Jewish, but we're not super religious, but we love the rituals and the traditions. So Friday night, we always have people over. We set a beautiful table, make a feast every Friday. And the screens, all the devices, so all the phones, iPads, computers, TV, everything is shut down right before we light the candles. We have a fabulous meal, and then they don't go back on till Saturday night. So all day Saturday, it's my favorite day. It's everybody's favorite day of the week because it's, first of all, what's the one day you want to feel long is Saturday, your day off. And when you turn off the screens, it makes time slow down. So it feels like a very luxurious extra, it feels like 4 days in one.
Wow. Whose idea was this?
Well, okay, so it goes back to, my husband grew up doing Shabbat. I didn't. And my father actually was really sick. And when you have someone in your family that's very close that's dying, you really think a lot about time and how short life is. And he did pass away. And right after he passed away, there's an organization called Reboot that did this National Day of Unplugging. And they asked us to participate and write something for it. So it happened right after my father died. So we did it that one day, and that was 8 years ago. Was that 7 years ago? And it was so powerful that we've done it every week since.
You have not missed a week in all that time?
Well, I'll tell you, every year there's like 1 or 2 weekends. Like I was just at the Women's March in DC, and we had to find each other. And if somebody's traveling on that day, which my husband and I both travel a lot, it won't happen. But I'd say like 97% of the weekends in the last 7 years, we as a family have unplugged, and it's been the best thing as a parent, as a person, and have ever done in my life. Because I didn't need any studies. I feel like we all know we're on the screens too much. We don't need any we don't need any doctors to tell us it's not good for our brains. It's not good for our psychologists to say it's not good for our soul. I think my gut was like, I want to be more present with the people that I love.
Sure.
And yeah. You
got 2 girls, yes?
Yeah, I have a teenager. A lot of people want to know that. Well, do you really unplug with a teenager? And she, we've been doing it we're just about to start our 8th year. And she wrote an incredible essay this year about being a teenager who unplugs every week. And it's part of her identity. So
it has not been a hard sell for her.
I think one of the things a lot of parents will say, oh, my teenage kids would never do that. But guess what? You're the parent. And parenting is modeling behavior. And a lot of kids, parents will say, oh, my kids are on the screen all the time. But a lot of kids will say, my parents are on their phones all the time. Mm-hmm. So I think parenting is setting an example. So if you run the household, you're paying the bills, your kids live with you, and you say, this is I think you have to do it as a family. Like I couldn't tell just my kids to do it, or it's a family experiment that's actually been incredible. And by Saturday night, we're all ready to go back online. That's this other thing, is that it also helps you reappreciate technology. So for Saturday, you have a question, you want to look something up, and you have to just think about that question. You can't look it up, which is kind of delicious and wonderful in itself, to just ponder something without getting the answer. But then by Saturday night, my husband and I have our date night, and the girls have their technology date night, and we're happy to be back online. But it's just a day off every week. Like I know, as crazy as whatever my week is, that I have this one day to reconnect with them, with my husband, with myself. And we need to, as a civilization, step up and say, there needs to be some boundaries here because it's overtaking every moment of our lives.
I do appreciate that, but I wonder if you could give some advice to some people who would look at this and say, I can't even imagine getting to the first step of even introducing this idea to my family, because it's just too foreign given how complicated our lives are today. How do you take the first step?
There's been so many studies in neuroscience that show it's good to put your mind in a different mode. And I find I feel more creative the next day, because what happens is when you're not on the screens, your mind is just getting to wander with all the stuff that's already inside of your mind. Instead of filling it with the news and emails and all these things influencing you, you get to kind of let it go off on its own. So I feel like Sunday morning after my tech Shabbats are like my most creative day. So anyways, to answer your question better, so if you search my name in Technology Shabbats, I've written articles about it. I have an infographic. And
I know. I watched the video, and I mean, you make an excellent case for it, but you also point out that we do have a chemical attraction, that dopamine fix, to being on those screens. Right, there is an addiction to it. And I just wonder whether or not by the time, 7, 8, 9 o'clock on Saturday night comes along, you guys are all so deep into withdrawal from your devices that you just can't wait to get back on them.
Well, it actually starts earlier. It's usually by like 4 or 5 that we're back online. I mean, especially in the winter when it's getting dark, because we'll go out on our date. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, sometimes I'm excited to go back online. But sometimes I wait another night and, we go out on our date and then I'll go back on Sunday, because inevitably I'm so relaxed and I feel so present and grounded. And then I open up my phone and there'll be good stuff, but there'll be that one email or text or headline that'll stress me out and it's ruined my night. So I feel like I'm creating like this protective shell of my own sanity for that one day. So sometimes I like to extend that peace that I feel on my tech Shabbats a little longer. But I'll tell you, the addiction, but listen, when you first start doing it the first day, I remember it's like a phantom limb. You feel a little itchy, like, where's my phone? And then now I look forward to it. It literally, like, it's Wednesday today. I can't wait for Friday.
Can you give us just finally a better sense of what you think this technology Shabbat has done to the relationship you have with your kids, the relationship you have with your husband, all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just deepened. I have never met a parent that hasn't said to me, it all goes so fast. It just goes so fast. 1 minute they're 3, the next minute they're in college. And these tech Shabbats slow down time for me. So I feel like most of my memories come from those days, because I keep like a journal. And if I look at my favorite moments, which I usually write down, and a lot on my Shabbats I write by hand, and it's a lovely, you get to live life twice, as Anais Nin used to say. But most of my favorite memories are from that day. So it's like this day that I stop time. And as a parent, I feel like I really savor and feel present and very connected with them on those days. And we usually do, that's like our family day. So we don't make plans with other people unless they have soccer or whatever, but that's kind of our day. I don't know one parent that wouldn't say, if I had a ritual that would bring me closer and more present, and I would feel like a better parent and person, I wouldn't want to institute that into my life. So
you make it sound irresistible. Tiffany, it's so good of you to join us on TVO tonight. Thanks very much.
Oh, thank you for having me, and enjoy the rest of your day.
And I guess I should say, for coming up Friday night and all day Saturday, Technology Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom to you too.
Help TVO create a better world through the power of learning. Visit TVO.org and make a tax-deductible donation today.